Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the 4th episode of the Crag Chat podcast. Today, I have my friend Sydney on. So we're in Denver right now, and we bouldered indoors, and then we climbed outdoors. Mm-hmm. And is the bouldering gym that you took us to your favorite gym in Denver?
No, my favorite gym in Denver is Englewood.
So why did you take us there?
Because I thought it would be fun to boulder.
Oh, okay.
Also, I love that gym. The margin of lovingness between the Movement Rhino and Englewood is like slim.
Yeah.
It's a close call.
But you also just like ropes in general.
Yeah.
So you've been climbing for what? 8 months?
Since March.
Yeah. So, okay. Walk us through the process of when you started climbing to where you are now.
Okay.
What happened?
Okay.
How are you so obsessed?
I don't know if I can answer that in like a coherent sentence.
That's fair.
Let's see. In March, I went to the gym, and then in Pennsylvania, and then I went there again with my friend David. I was like, oh, this is awesome. Like, there's not much else to do right now. It's kind of cold. So I was like, oh, this climbing thing is really cool. And then my friends, Jamie actually, and Max asked if I wanted to go outside, and I was like, we can do that.
How many months had you been climbing before you went outside?
2 weeks.
Oh, okay, so not months.
No. And then, so we went out to Birdsboro, and I was like, this is the coolest ever. I was like, I can't believe we're allowed to do this. Like,
what's the climbing like in Birdsboro? Because I haven't
Chaucy.
been. Yeah?
It's the best.
Is it
like every style of climbing? There's an overhung wall, there's slab, there's vertical. It's like the best of everything.
What style do you prefer, actually?
Usually like vertical and slab, because I can climb harder and I feel more confident and I get pumped out less. But I don't know, lately I've been liking vertical lately I've been liking overhung stuff because it makes me feel really strong. But I don't know.
Yeah.
It's different every time I go somewhere new.
I used to be like really, really bad at overhung stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm still not like great, but I used to be like really, really bad at it. And even my friend, I was on this overhung climb the other day at the gym, and I was like, my friend was watching me climb it. I still couldn't get it, and she was like, "Yeah, dude, but like you used to climb so bad on overhang compared to now." She's like, I'm not trying to tell you that you used to suck at overhang, but you used to suck at overhang.
Yeah.
It's so much core.
I just find that I can climb way longer if I'm not climbing.
Yeah,
overhung.
For me, like when I climb overhung, my lower back hurts, and I think it's because I like don't engage my core as much as I need to. But yeah, so we went to Movement Rhino. That was super cool. So for my experience, Movement Rhino was basically if you take all the Ohio gyms and you mash them all into one building. That was what Movement Rhino was. Like, it was huge.
I'm a big fan of the gyms in Denver.
It was crazy.
Yeah. But
the gym you started climbing at in Pennsylvania was small.
PRG Oaks. Shout out to Philly Rock gyms, I guess. Yeah, it was cool there. I just had it was just like a typical little town rock gym. And I was just really obsessed with the people there. I think that's what drew me to it the most. Because, I don't know, in college, I wasn't really, like, huge into partying. I kind of did that in high school and got over it. And I just wanted something, like, fun and to get, like, my ADHD brain under control. So that's, like, exactly what climbing was for me.
Yeah.
And then I had, like, I built this little community that I got to see every week. It was just, like, the best thing ever. And then, so I went to Birdsboro. And then 2 weeks after that, my friend Max was like, do you want to go to this place called the New River Gorge? And I was like,
and you had no clue,
yeah, like, of course I want to go do that. That sounds fun. So then we, like, planned this trip with all of our friends down to the New River Gorge for, like, a week. And it was, like, the best trip ever. It was so fun. And I just, like...
Were you guys sport climbing or trad climbing or...
Both.
Okay.
There wasn't a lot of sport. And I was just top roping. I wasn't leading it then, but... I did learn how to lead belay, so that was something. And then after that trip, I was like, wow, I want to do this for the rest of my life. Every single day. Yeah. Whenever I can. So I was like, I'm going to devote my life to this, like every other climber.
Yeah.
And
it goes quick. Like, so I saw a meme the other day, and it was like dominoes. Have you ever seen the like dominoes meme where it's like the small domino and then it goes all the way up to the big one? And it was like the small domino. It was like going to a birthday party to go climb for your friend, and then the big domino is like peeing in a Gatorade bottle that is in your van that is now your home.
You don't want to go outside because it's cold.
Yeah. It made me laugh.
Yeah.
But it goes like, it's weird how addictive it is. Like,
it's like a drug. It's like, I've never been so obsessed about, and I think about it when I wake up in the morning till I fall asleep at night.
Yeah, I know you do.
Yeah. Like, it's just the best thing ever. I don't know.
Yeah.
I could go on, but I digress.
I mean, no. Yeah. Like, this is a climbing podcast, so I think we're allowed to talk about how much we love climbing. Well, we're allowed to talk about whatever we want.
That's true.
We're in charge here. Yeah. I'm in charge here. So you went to the new.
Yeah, and then I came back, and then I was like, okay, like, I went back to the gym, and I was like top roping, and I was like, oh, top roping is cool and all. And then I was like, but I want to be leading. Like, I want to be putting my own ropes up. And then my friend Jamie was like, no, like, this is way too soon for you to be leading. And then I was like, screw you, Jamie. I'm going to learn how to lead. Which I honestly, like, thank him for giving me that criticism because it made me want to do it so much more. And then the next day I was like, Max, you going to go to Birdsboro? And he's like, yeah.
That's so funny because, to be completely honest, if I was climbing with you, I would have been like, I don't know if you should lead yet.
No, Max is like, best.
Yeah, no, and I know. But it's just like funny. You're like, no, screw you, like, Jamie.
Yeah. I was like, you don't tell me what to do.
Yeah. Well, Jamie mostly boulders though a lot, doesn't he? Like,
no, he does it all.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, he's a well-rounded climber. But I was like, I'm gonna do this river wrong, and also because I really want to. So then Max was like, I'll totally show you how to lead. So we went to Birdsboro, and then I led like some 7 or something, like mellow. And then I was like, okay, that was awesome. Now let's like keep working on this. And then I was like, just finding anybody that would go climbing with me outside. And so a couple of people like went to this place called Safe Harbor with me, and like we led some stuff there. And just like every other weekend, it felt like we were going places to climb because it was like starting to be springtime. It's like, oh, that's all we really wanted to be doing, like my little group of people who I love and miss. But yeah, so I was leading for a little while there and climbing outside as much as I could. Oh, and then my friend Max asked me to go out west with him to climb. And then I was like, oh, that sounds super fun. Like, I'm not doing anything else. So I was like, okay. So I quit my job. And I was like, I'll just do like school from my car or from the van or whatever.
You literally just packed up.
Yeah, I was just like, see you, Pennsylvania. We're going to climb.
And so let me interject here. So I met Sydney on her trip. So when she was driving from Pennsylvania to...
Wait, there's a little bit in between.
Okay, go ahead.
And then the van thing didn't really work out. A couple weeks into it, and then I was like, call my friend up, and I was like, hey, can you like come pick me up? And then she's like, yeah. So I stayed in Denver for like 2 weeks and like checked out some of the climbing around here. I was like, this is where I want to be. So I flew back to Pennsylvania, and then I sold my car, bought a Subaru, built it out a little bit, and packed up all my stuff all over again. And then made the drive out again.
And that's when I met you.
Yeah, it was like month 1, drive out, come back. Month 2, drive back out. But I stopped at the red.
And she stopped at the red.
Like, yeah, because it was like a 9-hour in stop. And I was like, oh, this will be perfect. And I get to break up my drive. And I'll be able to climb for like 5 days. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I met you were climbing with Jamie.
Yeah.
And so we met at the Great Wall.
Yeah.
And they were climbing like an 11 that we were gonna get on later, but we were kind of climbing some of the stuff more towards the left. And I remember like seeing you guys and like we said hi briefly and it was like, you know, the typical climber like, oh hey, like up. Where are you from? Okay, like whatever. Yeah. And like we didn't talk to you most of the rest of the day.
And then we're like, bye.
And then you're like, bye. I did give you a sticker though for the YouTube channel, and you're like, oh, that's cool. So then they packed up and they went to climb at a different wall.
I have no idea. Somewhere with roots.
Yeah. And so then we actually packed up and went to climb at a different wall as well because it was slammed at Great Wall.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, it was so slammed there.
It was slammed. Oh, and it was weird because it was like 90 degrees outside.
Yeah.
It was so hot. But we went to another wall and there was literally nobody there. So I think it was just Great Wall.
Yeah.
Because it was not packed.
Well, it was because it was so great.
Yeah, obviously.
I don't know. Anyways, so we go to a different wall, and Sydney and Jamie go to another wall, and then we're hiking out, and we hiked out at the exact same time.
And we're like, oh, hello again.
And we're like, oh, hey, fancy meeting you here.
Yeah, long time to see.
So we're like talking or whatever, and I remember we get back to the Muir Valley parking lot, like little structure there. Mm-hmm. And, like, everyone's, like, kind of wanting to leave and, like, go. But we're
all just, like, we should just, like, hang out together.
Yeah, there's, like, kind of, like, this mutual understanding that, like, we want to spend more time. Like, our groups wanted to spend more time together.
So we just started to sit down.
Yeah, so we just started to sit down. And we, like...
now we're all sitting.
We're all talking. Yeah. Yeah, so we, like, hung out for a little bit. I think I asked for your Instagram, too. So I was like, okay, cool, we can keep in touch. But then... like, we went our separate ways, and I didn't think I was going to see you guys again.
I was like, oh, they were so rad. I wish I, like, was staying. Or was around here, but I was on my way out here, out in Denver.
And then we separately went to get ice cream, and we meet up again!
Yeah. It was fake.
And we were like,
the earth was like, you better be together.
Yeah, we were like, this is 3 times in a row. And I tried to, the side of the brick, that's where we went to get ice cream. Do you remember?
Yeah, I was going to get a beer, but you were doing that. I didn't see you do that.
No, but, you didn't see me fall?
I didn't see you fall.
Okay, so for reference, I was just in, like, regular running shoes. And I tried to climb up the side of the ice cream wall because it was a brick wall, and I ate complete shit. And my tailbone was bruised for like literally like 3 or 4 days. Actually, for like a week.
That was a good day.
Yeah. And Jed was like, "Why are you trying to show off for your friends?" And I was like, "I wasn't. I was just like, I didn't actually.
Just having fun.
I didn't even actually mean to climb up it. I was just like trying to test it out, and I just like slipped. Yeah. Wasn't a good idea. Yeah, so we hung out, had ice cream, I think had a few beers. I remember
we were like going back and forth.
I remember specifically that you and Jamie, I didn't know what you guys' dynamic was, and I
don't think anybody did.
No, it's fine. And they're just friends, they were just climbing partners.
Yeah.
But I remember specifically you had a beer, and you're like, he's like, "Do you like this beer?" And you're like, "It's fine." And he's like, "I can switch you beers." And you're like, "No." And he's like, "I'm switching you beers." And then he's like switched it, and you're like,
"What a gentleman."
And you're like, "Yeah, what a gentleman." Jamie is like, the reason we're laughing about that is Jamie like is self-proclaimed to be like, "Yeah, I'm a gentleman." Yeah. Like at random times.
We get it.
Yeah, we get it.
No,
Jamie, if you're listening,
we love you.
We know you're a gentleman. Yeah, so we like hung out, and I was like, okay, well, that was cool. Good luck going to Denver.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I mean, I was like, and you're like, if you're ever, you're like,
I forgot about that.
You're like, if you're ever come out to Denver, like let me know.
We can climb, yeah.
And I was like, it's like one of those things where you like, a lot of people say stuff like that, but
nobody follows through.
Well, not nobody, but like, yeah, courtesy. You say it out of courtesy.
Yeah.
But I knew you were being genuine when you said it, and I remember thinking like, seeing you as, so my whole life I've like grown up and moved around, and I remember like kind of hearing your story of like you were leaving PA to go to Denver, and it was the first time you'd moved, and I was like, if we ever go there, she's gonna be happy if we come climb with her, because like I know how hard it is to be like in a new place and try to make we've kind of talked about that a bit. Like it's really hard to start over, and I think that the climbing community provides like,
oh yeah, if I didn't have a climbing community, I would have no friends out here.
I know,
seriously, like, and highlighting and stuff, but like I'll go to the gyms and it's so easy to just talk to people.
It's really easy to make friends. And like I think so, like some like online forums and stuff I'm on, they're like, how do you make friends in the climbing community? I think like just like don't be afraid to talk to people, and I mean that's easy for someone to say that like I'm not really that afraid to talk to people, but if you are someone that's afraid to talk to people, like just start small. Just like ask someone, you know, like, oh, what are you working on? Or like just start small with one thing, and people,
because most of the time people are totally willing to like have a good conversation.
Especially I think too, a tip is like find someone find someone that's actively like being really social with other people already, because it's more likely that they want to like socialize and whatever. That's how we kind of met. And then
and it blossomed.
Yeah, and then Sydney was like, I want to come back to the Red.
Oh, because I love the Red. And so that's like my favorite place to climb.
Yeah, same.
Yeah. So I was like, we were talking on Instagram a little bit, and I was like, just talking about cool stuff we were both doing. And then eventually I was like, hey, like, well, do you want to go climb at the Red? Like, if I book a flight and Jamie comes pick me up, because he lives in Atlanta, and Jamie agreed to it, and I was like, maybe Courtney will agree to it too. Yeah. So everybody just met up at the Red, and it was awesome.
And we all met up at the Red.
Yeah.
So so the second trip to the Red, so we are climbing once again at the Great Wall. We went back to our roots.
Yes, back to our roots.
And Sydney was like climbing this 10. What was it?
It was something that I thought was.
It was like a 10C maybe,
something like that.
10C or D. I don't know, something that you felt proud of climbing.
Yeah, like at the time, because I've only been climbing for a little while, so I was like, all right, like hell yeah, like I got something under my belt. And
so she climbed it. Did you climbed it clean? Yeah. So she climbed this route clean, and then we get off and we go to another route. And these two boys come over, and they've been talking about how like it's like their first or second time outside and whatever. Like they were just talking about how they were newer climbers in general. And the one boy flails the frick up this climb. Like,
well, no. Backstory: they were like, we can't climb because we can't lead.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay.
So you put the rope up, right?
So. Well, the rope was already up.
Yeah.
A couple people had top roped it too, and we were going to take it down, and we were going to clean it. And then we were like, oh, well, like, the rope's already up if you want to hop on it. These guys.
Yes,
like,
I forgot that part.
Yeah, because we were like, it's already up, like, might as well.
Oh my gosh, that makes this story even better.
Yeah, because that's why I was like...
Okay, yeah, so these newer climbers get on top rope. That's not the issue in this story. No. So we're like overwatching Jamie. Jamie was trying like I think some 11A, B something. Anyways, he was over on more towards the right side of the wall, and this climber flails up the route like bolt to bolt, like just like screaming and kicking his way up.
It was awesome though.
Finally, after getting up to the top, I'm really like, and kudos for him.
Yeah,
like,
totally.
I'm not ditching, like I'm not dissing the climbing.
It's just a funny story.
So he flails his way to the top, and he's like lower down, and he gets back down to the ground. And what does he say?
He's like, oh, that was like super easy.
He's like, that was super easy. Like
that's so easy.
I've climbed. He said,
yeah,
I've climbed 5/8 that are harder than that.
And I was like.
So
first, it was the end of the day, and I was like really proud of that because I like been struggling all day because everything's overhung there, and I was like trying to do 11s, and I was like not getting anything clean.
And Sydney's face was so like her face just like she did not know what to do with it. Like
no, it was just instinctual.
It was so funny, and he's like, yeah, like that climb was really easy. I climbed 5/8 harder than that, and he wasn't even really talking to us. He was just kind of like talking in general. And Sydney goes, yeah, well.
Yeah, well, it was hard to lead. And I shouldn't have said it.
No, you definitely should have, because like you're like
just like, man, like I worked so hard for that, and they just took it from me.
But the funny part of it though was the emphasis on, you're like, yeah, well.
Yeah.
And then there's a pause, and you're like, it was harder on lead.
Immediately I was like,
and then it back. And then immediately you were like, do you think I should apologize? I was like, no, absolutely not. Like, it was so funny.
Sometimes things just come out.
They didn't even hear you. No, there's no way they heard you. And
they're just doing their own thing.
If for whatever reason, you are the climbers that were climbing that route. Yeah. We absolutely.
Oh no! Like I literally, it's like not. I don't care about it at all.
The funniest part was just the way Sydney reacted. You guys did nothing. Wrong. It was awesome. The way Sydney reacted.
The whole situation was so good, and then afterwards, it just made it so much better.
Yeah, it was so funny. And then I
was like, you can't take this from me.
So I wanted to tell you the story of breakfast burrito because you've never heard it.
Yes.
So there's this route. So Sydney loves climbing the Red. I love climbing the Red.
Yes.
So there's this route the Red called breakfast burrito. And as the legend goes, this guy climbs up it, And when he gets like 2 or 3 clips away from the top, he realizes that he doesn't have any more draws.
Oh, that's happened to me.
So yeah, definitely. So what would you do?
Lower back down and get more draws.
Yeah, right? So he's like, it'll be fine.
It'll be fine. What are you gonna?
So he keeps no.
Oh.
So he keeps climbing up to the top, and then when he gets to the anchors, in his belayer, apparently, this is all hearsay, right?
Yeah.
But his belayer was apparently like, dude, this isn't a good idea, and he's like, it'll be fine. Like, I don't know how he thought he would lower back down, because there's like, yeah. So the plan was he held onto the rock with one hand, and he untied his rope with the other hand and was gonna thread it through the chains.
And then retie a figure eight.
And then retie a figure eight, all while holding on with one hand. Well, he was holding on to the chains, but I mean, still. He unties the rope and proceeds to drop it.
Ah, yes.
So he's literally up there just hanging onto the chains.
Good.
And I should know the climber that rescued him. I should know his name. But it's just
Were you there?
No.
Oh, okay.
This is just a story that's been passed. Yeah. So it just so happened that this legendary climber, like really, really good climber that I should know his name. I think it's like Paxty or something like that, was nearby and was like, holy shit.
Yeah,
and
like what do you do in that situation?
He booked it up the climb and like went and rescued the guy. Yeah. And so now at the Rocktoberfest every year, they have this thing called the Breakfast Burrito Challenge. And they set up, like, obviously you're like a foot off the ground, but they set up anchors and they have climbers try to see if they can like untie the rope and then thread it through the chains and then tie back in. Awesome. And then they like have a contest to see like who can do it the fastest and whatever. I just thought that like when
That's cool, we should go.
Yeah, I mean, so the thing is, I went to Rocktoberfest and I heard about it and I was like, oh, that's really cool. And then I didn't try the challenge. No. Like, I literally walked past it.
Oh, you should have.
So we need to go to Rocktoberfest and try it. Sounds fun. I just like, even someone that's been climbing for like one time would know, like, don't untie your rope.
It's not hard to just lower back.
Have you? Okay, so like, so you go outside a lot.
I try to.
Yeah. What are there any like just straight up like stupid things that you've seen or like
sure.
What annoys you about people like outside? Like are there any things that you've seen that you're just like, what are you doing?
Honestly, normally when I'm climbing outside around here, at least, it isn't like around a ton of people, unless I'm like at Clear Creek where it's gets mobbed. Or North Table.
North Table today was crazy.
Like, in Eldo, I rarely see people. Probably just because it's, like, weather's been real cold. Mm-hmm. But I do see, which isn't, like, it's just kind of funny to me, like, ATCs tumbling down multi-pitches all the time.
Wait, really?
Yeah, I've seen it, like, happen, like, 4 times now. Where ATCs will just, like, people will just drop them. And then, like, what are you going to do? You can't wrap off of it now. Yeah. An ATC. I mean, you can figure it out. There are other ways to do it, but...
Do you carry, a couple of belay devices when you're on?
When we multi-pitch, I carry... Well, I use my Gree, but I carry my ATC. Yeah. So, yeah, I have a backup.
That's a good idea. I mean, that's a good idea.
A lot of people carry 2 ATCs.
Yeah.
So. I mean...
It unnerves me the way that you say, like... Yeah, I see it all the time.
Well, I mean, I do see it a lot. I've seen it a few times now.
So we went to the Flatirons today. You like to solo the second Flatiron quite a bit.
Most people do. It's like a 5-0, 5-2.
Yeah.
There's like 1 5-2 move.
So it was too snowy to solo today. But I saw something, the third Flatiron, one of the ATCs that tumbled down the mountain must have tumbled down on the third Flatiron, because I saw a photo where a tree root had like grown through the...
That's classic.
ACT.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was really cool. And then I was like, I wonder if Sid's seen it. No. But you're on the you go to the second one.
Whenever I don't have a partner to climb with.
Okay, so we'll get back to talking about the Flatiron in just a second. But before we do, I just wanted to mention that you can get 20% off Athletic Brewing, which is my favorite non-alcoholic beer, with code CourtneyS20 at checkout at athleticbrewing.com. And now, back to our regularly scheduled content. So the Flatiron.
Yeah, Flatiron's awesome. I mean, I don't think it's anything like crazy. Like, it's just barely fifth class. It is exposure, so like if you have any kind of fear of heights, it might be like a little bit mentally challenging. But and either way, it's just like it's still 600 feet of climbing.
It was crazy to me to go to the city of Boulder and like, so it's just outside of Boulder.
Yeah.
And it was crazy to me to like go in afterwards, after we hiked up just to the base of it, go into a Trader Joe's and like buy lunch and look out the window and these massive mountains are still there.
I know.
It was just crazy.
Blessed to be living here.
We didn't finish out your climbing timeline. So we met at the Red.
Yes.
We had our adventures. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we had a really good time at the Red. It was a good trip.
That was awesome.
And then you headed to Denver.
Well, yeah. I did another 2-day stretch. So I drove 8 hours, stayed somewhere boring, flat. And then I drove 8 hours to Denver. And then I was like, okay, like time to make friends. So I like signed up for the gyms. And I started going to the gyms. And then I started hanging out with my friends again, Max and Luke and Leo. And they were in Utah most of the like fall-ish time period. And they were climbing in Moab and Indian Creek. And I was like, oh, that'd be cool. So I like went there a couple weekends in a row to Moab and like did some climbing there. It's like my favorite place to be. It's awesome.
Moab?
There. Yeah.
Do you like climbing in Moab better than climbing in the Red?
I don't think I can answer that yet because I just got into trad,
so yeah.
So I don't.
It's just different.
Yeah, it's just so. It's like a different world.
Yeah.
Like,
what's cool about Moab?
Minus the absolutely stunning scenery, like the red walls and the bright blue sky, which I am in love with. The cracks are sweet, and the sandstone's awesome, and there's just climbing everywhere. And there's just there are canyons everywhere, and the towers are so cool.
Yeah, we both are really into towers. We really want to climb towers.
I can't wait to get some more towers.
Yeah, that's like one of Sydney's and I's big goals is to climb a lot more towers.
Yeah, like everybody else that wants to climb in Utah, just like get up the cool towers. But what really blew me away was going to Indian Creek. I was like, this is what I want to be doing.
Yeah,
like getting up these sweet cracks that go forever. And I don't know, like I was just top roping, so because I wasn't track climbing at the time, and even that was just like so cool and just such a different experience. And everybody there, it's kind of like Miguel's, like how there's just such a strong community there. There's just such a strong community in Indian Creek, and I just want to be a part of it.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah.
I know we joke around a lot about, like, El Cap. Like, the other day...
just kidding.
So, like, the other day, I think you were climbing the Flatiron. This is a while back.
Yeah.
She sent me a picture of her at the top of one of the Flatirons or whatever, and she's like, it's windy out here.
Everywhere.
And, I, like, knew she was just climbing that... like, which is still an accomplishment, but I was like, oh,
it's just fun.
Yeah, and I was like, oh my gosh, congratulations on topping out El Cap. And then as soon as I said it, I was like, wow, that's really disrespectful to all the time and effort that real climbers that top out El Cap. But I was like, and then she was like, oh, thanks. But like, do you actually want to climb El Cap? Is that like...
Well, I mean, who doesn't want to go climbing in Yosemite?
Well, yeah, but I feel like some people actually have no desire to do, like, big wall climbing.
Yeah, I guess that's true. That's, like, my goal.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I want. That's what I'm working toward.
Yeah.
It's a big wall.
And you have a whole list of, like, routes.
Oh, yeah.
That you want to do.
I'm on a mountain project every day.
Yeah.
Just looking at stuff I want to do. I don't know. It gets me really excited to go pick out routes that like really inspire me and like make me want to work hard to
we also talked a bit about the coolest climb that you've ever done, and you said that it'd probably have to be at the Gunks. You said you really liked climbing at the Gunks on the climb that Max took you on.
I do love climbing at the Gunks.
What was that like?
Well, that was my first multi-pitch, and I was, like, super psyched on it. I was like, we get to go super high, that's awesome. And Max is just awesome, and he like bears with me and takes me up cool stuff.
If you guys don't know who Max is, go watch. I have a video on the channel called "Fall Climbing Adventures in the Red River Gorge," and you get to briefly see Max.
Yeah.
He's really into juggling.
He's the best.
He's really good at juggling.
Oh yeah, he's good at everything he does.
Yeah.
He makes me so mad.
Is that true?
Yeah, he is good at everything. He like just works so hard at everything he does. It's awesome.
Oh,
yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah.
But anyways, he took you to the gunks.
Yeah, he took me to the gunks, and we did a multi-pitch, and I was like, immediately more in love with climbing.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I want to be doing this stuff, but like, it's a natural progression. Like, you gotta work your way up the ladder. And he was leading something, and it was like a 300-foot pitch, or 300-foot climb, like 3 pitches. And we were going up. We were like second pitch up, and we didn't have like walkies or anything, which would be helpful. But he was like, it might be windy up there. You probably won't be able to hear me. And I was like, okay, like we got this. And he like went up over this roof, and then I was like, okay, I got this. And then I was basically top roofing, but I like cleaned his pieces, and then I went under the roof, and I was like, I gotta get up over this roof now. And I like traversed to the left a little bit, and like try to get up, and I was like, this is not happening. This is so hard. Because I still was like new to climbing.
Yeah.
And I couldn't talk to Max because he was like above this huge roof, and he was like all the way up there.
Were you freaked out?
No, I wasn't freaked out because I knew we would figure it out, or I knew I would get up it somehow.
Yeah.
And
I feel like you have a pretty good head game for climbing, honestly.
I mean, it would be so much worse if I freaked out. Like, no, that's not gonna help me. If I freak out while I'm climbing and I like can't get up, the best possible scenario is like keep a level head and like figure your way out of it.
That's such like it's just like, so I mean, obviously, yeah, logically, like stay calm and just like get through it. But then like it's so common for when people get up on the wall and they start to get freaked out, like they just freak out, and it's hard to like,
you cannot like concentrate if you're freaking out.
Yeah.
Which is easier said than done, obviously, but
do you think that's just something that you're naturally like, have you always been good at like stressful situations? Are you like calm in stressful situations like normally, or
yeah, I mean, I'd say I'm pretty calm and stressful. Like, I just try to like think through things and then like take steps forward to get through it. So I guess that's kind of like what I do with climbing too.
Well, because like even today we were climbing out at North Table. It's near Golden.
Taking whips.
Yeah, well, not even the whips, but she was climbing this route that basically she like, we all decided like this dyno move thing was like way too hard for us.
Yeah, I was like, this is not.
Yeah, and she let it. And she was like, okay, I'm just going to go over to the left and do, like, this,
it was like a chimney.
It was like a chimney sort of thing. And you were stemming. And, I don't know, like, it was going to be quite a swing if you fell there. She was in this chimney, and I'm just, like, sitting there watching you. Like, I'm sitting there watching you, and I could tell you that you were freaked out, but you're just so calm about it, and it was, like, really cool to watch.
Well, I was, like, freak out about it and like take a huge swing and whip down to the next bowl. Or
you said something, there was a bunch of pigeon poop in the chimney, and Jed was like, you can get like 17 different diseases.
He was like, well, don't lick it then.
And so he's like, well, I either get the 17 different diseases or I was gonna take a big swinging whip.
Or I was gonna be big.
Yeah. So she got through it.
Yeah, it was really fun. That was my favorite route of the day. That was my favorite route of the past 2 days. Definitely.
Yeah. I don't
know what it's called, but
it was you still don't know what it's called. It was called
too many route names.
Something about 76.
Yeah, I don't know. Some sort of cool, crimpy
11A B thing.
Yeah, it was fun.
If you ever get a chance to climb at North Table, like if anyone's listening, and you're like,
polished, but it is fun.
I always like to try and lead things when I'm in a new area because I like want to get used to it at like a high level of fear, I guess. Yeah. But I generally don't get like too freaked out. But because it was so polished, I couldn't really
stick onto anything.
I couldn't describe what. I spent about 10 minutes.
Just smooth.
Sydney can vouch for this. I spent about 10 minutes trying to like come up with excuses for why I was so scared. Not excuses, but like reasons, like logical reasons.
Just trying to think it through.
And then Sydney's like, yeah, she's like pretty polished. I'm like, that's it.
Oh yeah, that's like what North Table is known for.
Yeah.
Well, because where else are you gonna climb in like
Well, even like
sunshine in the winter.
even things that were crimps were.
Oh yeah,
like,
you're slipping off everything.
Yeah.
You're pulling hard.
Yeah, so it was a very different climbing experience, but it's cool because North Table, well, the approach, I know you're like, the approach is kind of like hard, but it's not really that hard.
It's just consistent. It's
yeah.
just like you're just going uphill for a while.
Yeah. And then it's really cool because you get a really nice view of the city.
Yeah, because you're on top of everything.
Yeah.
So cool. And
when we were walking down, I was like, man, it smells like someone making beer.
Yeah, I was like, oh, it's probably that beer factory down
there. And there's a beer factory down there. Yeah. No,
funny.
North Table is really cool. So if you're in the Golden area, like, go out and check it out.
In the winter.
I wanted to ask you a couple questions.
Yes.
So on the previous episode, we talked about climbers out west liking to be naked.
Yes.
And you were the inspiration for that story because you told me that everyone's just naked here all the time.
It's awesome.
So my first question, and this will really test if this is true. So would you rather climb every route in only your underwear or every route in a puffy and long pants?
Like all year round?
Like every climb that you do from now on. Yeah, well,
I feel like that's hard.
Yeah. I guess the real question here.
Probably I don't know. I feel like probably my underwear. Cuz like when you're climbing, you get hot.
I know.
It's like if I'm climbing in the desert and I'm wearing a puffy and pants.
No, I know.
Heat stroke.
I know, but then like think about it, if you're like climbing, I mean, it gets cold sometimes.
Oh yeah, it does.
You're like only in your underwear.
Yeah, there wouldn't be much night climbing.
No, and the main question I had is like, do you get to tape your nipples? Because I feel like that'd be pretty. If you're climbing only in your underwear.
Off with an underwear.
Yeah.
Just ripping everything to shreds.
Yeah.
Oh, that seems hard.
Yeah.
And I don't know. That's a good question.
I know. I think I would choose only underwear. Just because for me, even with any type of movement that I'm doing, well, I mostly just don't really like clothes that much, to be honest.
Wait, actually though, I mean, conditions are better when it's colder.
Yeah, that's true.
So
a puffy and long pants for every route. Even in the summer in Indian Creek.
Hard.
Oh wait, do you climb in the summer in Indian Creek?
I mean, you could. It would be brutal, but.
Well, I think about it. I pretty much climb in my sports bra all the time because I know it's weird, but like I just feel like I can. Weird. I just feel like I can. No, it's not. No, it's not weird. But like,
all the time too. I feel like a lot of girls do.
Yeah, I just feel like I can. Hot. Well, that. And I feel like I can just move better. Like, even for running. It's not just climbing, too. Like, even for running, I will, like, run in a sports bra, like, till it's, like, I absolutely am, like, freezing. Yeah, because I don't know. I just, like,
if I'm, like, super hot, I will definitely, like, climb in a sports bra.
I always have to run in leggings, though, because I, like, chafe really bad. And also, I don't really like wearing shorts when I climb.
I love wearing shorts when I climb.
Really?
I love to be free.
Do you wear, like, short shorts, or?
Oh, yeah.
Because, no, but... See, for me, the harness, yeah.
Yeah, I don't care. It just sits however it sits.
Okay.
I love, like, when we were at
I got a new harness today.
Yeah, she did get a new harness today.
Sorry, that wasn't important. I was just excited.
It's a beautiful harness. Oh, I do love climbing in shorts. Well, it depends on the style of climbing, too. And, like, where you're climbing.
Yeah.
But just because I feel more, like, free and...
able to move.
Yeah, and I just love the sunshine on my skin, so...
Yeah.
It works out.
Yeah, I think I would choose the only underwear thing.
Back at this, yeah.
you're irritated. You're like, I thought we were off.
Like, I don't know the answer to this question. No, I'd probably go with
as long as it was only climbing. Like, if you get off the route, you're allowed to put, like, more clothes on and stuff.
Totally.
Yeah.
Then that's the easy answer.
Yeah.
Like, you can't just... like, you're just hanging out the Crag all day in your underwear. That would get cold.
Yeah. Alright, second question, would you rather?
Okay.
Would you rather have someone spray beta at you on every climb?
Oh.
Or you have to uncontrollably spray beta at anyone climbing around you?
Oh, definitely. I don't want to be the jerk. Like, I would definitely...
You definitely just, like, yeah.
Because I'm just ruining everybody's experience. If I spray beta to everybody.
Yeah.
Don't be that person.
I also think that I would rather have someone spray beta me on every climb. It would be really annoying, but at least...
It would be annoying.
At least
maybe you
wouldn't...
could put in earplugs.
Something.
While you're climbing.
Gosh.
Or music.
Someone was saying that, someone at the Red... this... I can't remember where I saw or heard this story, but it was cracking me up. Some climbers, they were at the Red. They had, like, a trucker radio system. And it's, like, single pitch, like, not tall routes.
Necessary.
They had it, like, cranked to full volume.
Okay.
And the people on the ground, it was, like, a group of, like, younger males. I mean, that's not really relevant, but just so you can get the picture. There's, like, a group of, like, 3 or 4 guys on the ground, like, and then a guy's climbing, and he has the radio clipped to his belt. And they're, like, spraying Beta for every single move into... the radio, and
I guess if it makes them happy,
and it's like blaring across the whole crag.
That's hard.
And they're like just turn it down. Like if you're gonna do that, like what? And it was also just like funny because you could hear each other already.
It's like you feel up there.
Yeah, I don't know. It just cracked me up.
That is kind of funny.
All right, three. This is the last. Would you rather? Okay. So this is very Sydney specific.
All right.
Would you rather eat a pancake before getting on any route?
That sounds awesome. That's a lot of pancakes.
Yeah.
Oof.
Or eat a handful of sprinkles at the end of every outdoor trip.
Well, that one, because I feel like
you'd rather
eat pancakes like for 15 rounds in a day.
Yeah.
And you're just like gonna throw up.
So Sydney loves pancake for everyone listening that doesn't know.
Not the best breakfast food. I just have been.
Yeah, Sydney loves pancakes. She also is a professional pancake flipper.
Yeah, I would say so.
If anyone needs a professional pancake flipper, just hit her up.
If you need your pancake flipped, I can give you some pointers.
That sounds like if you need your pancake flipped. I can help you
Take
out.
it or leave it.
Hey, but she hates sprinkles.
Sprinkles are gross and they degrade ice cream, I think. They are a little plastic bead. I don't know why anybody likes them.
Sprinkles.
There are countless better toppings for ice cream. Sprinkles is not one of them.
What's your ice cream toppings that you... If you have to put toppings on ice cream?
I put peanut butter on pretty much everything.
Yeah.
So probably that, but...
So I was thinking about the whole, would you rather eat a pancake before getting on any route or eat a handful of sprinkles?
It would be the sprinkles, even though I would hate it.
So if I were to be given this question though, I would cheat the system and be like, well, you never said how big the pancakes had to be. You could just like make small ones. But still, if you're climbing a lot of routes...
Honestly though, then people would be giving me food all day, which would be like really awesome.
Yeah.
Right? Because, like, I never have bring food with me. I bring, like, a bunch of bars and, like, apples and stuff. But if somebody's, like, handing me pancakes all the time, I'd be like, yeah, that's awesome. I mean, never have to worry about being nourished while I'm climbing again.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
So I wanted to talk about quotes, like our favorite quotes, so when Sydney and I were walking back up the stairs, the horrible staircase that's never ending at the Red, to get back up from...
It's a fun one.
Yeah, it's to get back up from that Muir Valley area.
Yeah, where it like splits off.
We were talking about our favorite quotes, just like quotes that we kind of live by in general, and Mike Lebecki, he is like just this really cool...
This is a great quote.
...climber. He has this quote that's basically, it's why ration passion.
It's so funny though, because when I first started climbing with Max, like at the gym, like that's all he would say to me. He's like, don't ration passion. He'd be like, climb every day, don't ration passion. And I was like, oh, like that makes total sense. Like, I love that. And then obviously I like watched the Real Rock eventually, and I was like, oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
But then you brought it up, and I was like, oh, everybody knows about this quote.
Yeah. Well, I just feel like you, if anyone does, like, you really embody, like, why ration passion, because you're, like, climbing. Climbing is life.
Well, yeah. I don't know, I just love it so much. I just want it to be done all the time.
When we were talking about, on the way back up from the Red, we were talking about quotes that we live by, and you had a couple.
Yes, I had a couple. What did I say to you?
I have one if you need a minute to think about it.
Yeah, go for it.
I was listening to, basically there was this podcast, it's called Total Fit Heads. It's like more like lifting gym type podcasts.
I gotcha.
The host on the podcast, Allie, was saying that her mom, when Allie was little, she had this goal to drink a glass of milk every day. Like, it was like part of their school routine where like I don't know, I feel like there's a big push from the milk industry to like drink a glass of milk every day. I drank a lot of milk when I was younger.
Yeah.
Got milk? Anyways, she like never drank it was 3 glasses of milk a day, actually.
That's a lot of milk. Like, if you drink a gallon of milk, you'll throw up. So like 3 glasses is kind of a lot of milk, I feel.
But yeah, it was like 3 glasses of milk every day. Anyways, she can never do it because
that's hard.
Yeah. Well, she finally does it. She finally drinks her 3 glasses of milk, and she like ran to her mom, and she's like, "Mom, like I did it. Like I got my goal. I'm so proud." And her mom like wasn't saying this with ill intent at all, but she said, "That's great, honey. Now do it again tomorrow." And I don't know why, but like. So Allie was saying that really has shaped her as a person, like the way that she accomplishes goals, because now when she says that she almost took it in like a negative light, like that's great, like just do it again tomorrow, like who really cares that you, but she's like, I know that's not how my mom meant it.
Yeah.
But I just think that that's like a really cool quote that you can apply to like life and climbing, because like you have these goals and you're gonna accomplish them, and then even if you work like really hard towards them, you're gonna get there, and then it's like, well, that's great, like what are you gonna do today and tomorrow and the next day to like stay hyped? Did you think of something?
I did. I thought of a few.
Oh, look at you.
Yeah, I was thinking and listening. One of the ones I've been following pretty hardcore recently is you can't grow in a place you've outgrown. So, like, when I was back in Pennsylvania, as much as I love Pennsylvania, like, I seriously do really love it there.
She always talks about how much she loves Pennsylvania.
Yeah, it's so green, it's like forest. Like, I wasn't growing there. As a climber, as a person, like, with my future career, maybe school, I don't know. So, it's really scary to, like, pick up and change your whole life, but I do believe that if you're, like, super comfortable and you feel kind of stuck in life, like, you won't be growing if you're not uncomfortable, if you're not like doing something that challenges you. So,
yeah,
I like that. Max actually told me that one. And then another one that I really like that my dad always said growing up was I'm gonna butcher it, it's like a Thoreau quote, but he's always said, live the life you have imagined for yourself. And I think that's part of what like built me into like a dreamer. Just like, I don't know, you only have one life, it's cheesy, but like do everything that you want to do in preparation to live the life that like you have imagined for yourself.
Yeah.
And like this is starting to be like the life I have imagined. Like I get to be in this beautiful place, beautiful weather, beautiful people, climbing, like pursuing this passion I didn't know I had until March of last year. Like I don't know, things do come together if you like get really uncomfortable.
Yeah, because I'm sure it's been hard, like...
I mean, yeah, it's not, like, nothing's ever, like, super easy when you're, like, picking up and changing your life, but, it's the best thing that I've done.
Yeah. We talk a lot about how the best things in life are, like, bittersweet moments.
Yeah, and it was bittersweet. Like, I loved my people back home. Like, I love my friends with all my heart back home. And I love Pennsylvania, and I love climbing there, and, like, I loved my family is all there. So, like, it's hard. It's, like, so hard to leave all that, to leave everything you really love. But I love things here. I love people here. Like, I love my life here. So.
Yeah.
It is bittersweet, but I wouldn't change it.
It's kind of, I think it's, like, interesting, too, because last night we were watching Fine Lines. If you haven't seen Fine Lines.
Ooh, watch it.
Definitely watch it. Is it a real rock or is it separate?
I'm not sure who produced it, to be honest.
Amazon Prime.
Say the wrong thing. It's on Amazon Prime.
Yeah, Fine Lines.
Yeah,
it's good climbing movie. But we were watching that, and even some of the pro climbers on there were talking about how like the moment when they summit, it's kind of bittersweet.
Yeah, because like you work so hard to accomplish this goal, and then you do it, and then what?
And then what? I guess
and then you work on something else.
Yeah, I guess that's where the part where it's like, and do it again tomorrow comes in.
But I like it. Like, you make a concrete goal, like, or you want to do, you accomplish it, and then like, oh, check it off the list. Like, nice. Now I can work something either harder or something that attracts you more. Or,
yeah.
Yeah.
So what's the plan moving forward? Like, what do you like? What would your ideal like the rest of this year look like for climbing?
Well, the plan, the plan right now. Well, I've been finishing school, so I've gotten most of my classes on. Like, I am enrolled in Pennsylvania in a school that's in person, but since COVID happened, a lot of it went online. So I was like, like screw it, I'll just like figure out my classes, move out here, and like just try to make it work. And I've been doing that. And this semester I did it, or I am able to do it again, but I'm gonna have to go back in the fall. So I was like, okay, like that's gotta be part of my plan. Just like spend 3 months back in Pennsylvania, finish school, get it done, and then like do what I actually want to do.
Yeah.
But the fun part, that's like the not fun part. The fun part will be, I've been saving and working since like I moved here in September in preparation to travel in like May. Like just start like living out of my car and like pack up stuff here and just like get on the road and climb.
See what there is to see.
Yeah, just like climb as much as I can. And yeah, I'm really excited about it. I have like a lot of places I want to go this year.
Yeah, you also were talking about how when you go back to PA, you want to build a crack climbing
Nobody knows
system.
what I'm talking about when I say that. A crack box.
Yeah.
Well, I want to get better at crack climbing. And
Yeah.
like, I can't do that in Pennsylvania, really.
So it's really funny. I don't know if you saw this, but Mary on Instagram.
I did see that, yeah.
Mary hates being called by her Instagram handle. I figured that out the other day. I guess it would be kind of bizarre.
Yeah,
But for reference, Trad Princess on Instagram, her friend and her built a crack system.
Yeah.
And
yeah, a lot of people do.
yeah, but then it just made me laugh because a bunch of people must have been like sending her DMs like, I don't know if that's built the right way, like blah 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 blah.
What?
Because
You literally just like take 2x4s and put them next to each other, like do a hand size.
I have no clue what happened, but basically something must have happened because she put another post and she was like, listen, if you have a problem with the way my crack system was built...
If you have a problem with it, then don't look at it.
She was like, if you have a problem with how it was built, like, I didn't plan it out. Go yell at my friend. And she, like, tagged him and was like,
that's pretty funny.
Go complain in his DMs. like,
this is enough.
Yeah, she's like, that's enough.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That's funny.
So, if you ever send me a picture of your crack system, I'm gonna be like, nah. Like, horrible.
Do better.
Sydney's dad. Okay, let's shout out to your dad on the podcast.
Shout out to my dad. My dad is the best. He just, like, any aspiration that I have, he's just like, go for it. Like, you got it. Like, you want to be a climber? Go climb. Like, my mom, too. They're just so supportive of me in my, like...
Yeah.
Alternative endeavors.
What did you like? What did you do before you climbed? Like, what were some of your main like hobbies?
I was skateboarding a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't like as like really super passionate about it as I am climbing, but I really did love skateboarding. And I still do. Like, I still go skateboarding in Denver and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of what I was doing before that, and I would just go out with my friend Casey and we just go to the parks and like, I don't know, it was fun. Like, I had a great time. And then I found climbing and then I was like, oh, this is what I want to do.
Yeah.
And I was like, I feel like I start a lot of things and stop a lot of things and like, just want to have like all these hobbies because everything is so fun in life. But I will be like mediocre at all of them because I'm like doing little bits of every single one of them. But I was like, I want to be like a really good climber. At least like, I really want to work on this. So
yeah.
I like kind of ended that. I was like, if I'm gonna be good at something, like, I want to prioritize it. And I was like, I want to prioritize climbing.
Besides climbing, what are some of like the efforts you make to train for climbing or like to be a good climber?
Well, before I was climbing, I guess I was skateboarding and I was like lifting a lot. Like, I was like lifting like 4 to 5 days a week, and I think that really helped me in my climbing, just because like feeling strong when you climb is like definitely beneficial, and I still keep up with that. I probably like lift like 3 to 4 days a week just to like keep on top of my strength training. And for cardio, just like either like hiking in the mountains, or like if I can't do that, then I'll just like do that after my weight training session or something, just like keep up with my cardio game. I don't know.
Yeah.
For the approaches, mostly.
Yeah.
These, like, long approaches. But, yeah, that's kind of what I do for... And then, like, mental training. Like, trying to take in as much information as I can on the mental side of climbing. Like, reading books like The Rock Warrior's Way and stuff like that, just to, like, try to be a stronger mental climber too.
I think something that's really cool that you didn't even notice here is I said, what do you do to train for climbing? And one of the things that makes you a good climber is you're like, yeah, this is what I do physically, and then you went right to this is what I do mentally. Like,
well, yeah, because, like,
I think
a lot of climbing is mental. Like,
right, but
like, you can pull hard, but if you can't, like,
100%
keep it together, like, that's going to make it really hard.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. I definitely have, like, things I can work on, and, like, I'm trying to work on.
Well, yeah, no, definitely. I just wanted to point out to you that that's a very, like, mature way of thinking for a lot of climbers. Like, I feel like when you talk about training, it's, like, all these, like, physical things, right?
Yeah.
But you gotta include the mental aspect in there.
You have to. Especially if you're, like, have these, like, I don't know, big objectives outside, like
yeah.
I don't know. Or inside, too. Like, all of it, honestly. It's just, like, a lot of it's mental. Even, you notice, like, when you go bouldering sometimes, in the gym, like, if you're having, like, a bad mental day, nothing's gonna feel good.
I think that you're one of the coolest people that I've ever met. Oh. And thank you for being on the pod.
Thanks for having me.
I hope everyone enjoyed learning about Sydney and her climbing. And yeah, I hope if our listeners take away anything from this episode is, like, the level of stoke that people can provide in your life, because I know that for myself, I found a lot of inspiration and stoke from Sydney. Aww. And she makes me want to, like, try harder and be better at climbing. We'll end on this. Sydney, before every route that I've done, it's like, don't forget to have fun.
Yeah, but I'm just like... yeah, I guess so.
And I love it. I just think it's really cool. And when the guy was yelling and screaming up on the wall...
Well, I said it because, like, everybody at the Crag was like, what is this guy on? Because he was, like, screaming. And I was, like, all for it. Like, he was, like, going hard. And I was
yeah.
But I was at the top, and he was at the top. We're, like, both at the chains. And he looks over, like, just made eye contact. He was like, oh, no, he wasn't at the chains. He was, like, a little lower because he was trying to get up there. And he was like, I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Like, what am I doing wrong? I was like, did you try having more fun? I was, like, being a jerk. And he was like, yeah. He thought it was, like, kind of funny. But,
yeah. All right. Well, this has been episode 4 of the Crag Chat podcast.
Happy to be on.
Thank you for being on the pod.
Thanks for having
me. I know I promised you beer, but we didn't get beer, so it's all good.
To do anything.
Yeah,
besides, like,
we had a long day.
Yeah.
All right. Bye. Love you guys.
All right. Adios.